Sasha, are you a wanted man? Are you a millionaire? Was it like some 300 million, the USDN case that you had?
This was a very big learning experience for me.
Waves recently has been delisted from Binance.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts though? What you must be thinking right now? So you admitted it was a fail.
Yeah,
How did it fail? How did it just collapse?
Like, if you lose in this market, this is your fault, you know. So this is like you made some mistake and you were punished for it.
And welcome back to another episode of the Traders Brawl podcast. Welcome, I'm Adel, the host. Today I'm going to be interviewing Sasha Ivanov from Waves platform and also Units Network. For those who are new, welcome, and for those who are already here, thank you for staying with us. We are a social media marketing agency. We are here to educate and learn from new entrepreneurs who are building in the Web3 space. There's always room for development and learning, so today we're featuring an entrepreneur, a technological entrepreneur, Sasha Ivanov from Ukraine, about what he's building with Waves platform. So with that said, welcome. Sasha, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thank you.
How are you?
I'm good actually. It's a very busy day today, some developments in Waves ecosystem, but yeah, it's always a pleasure to discuss what we do. So yeah, let me just make a short introduction maybe. There's like a lot of new people in crypto who haven't heard about Waves. Waves is a very old project from back 2016. It was like one of the first ones, one of the first smart contract platforms. And we've done a lot of things like in DeFi, in enterprise blockchain, like we had major projects in Russia. I'm Ukrainian, but I live in Russia. I left Russia 2 years ago, actually. And yes, I've been involved maybe in all areas of blockchain development for 10 years by now. So I'm in crypto since, I guess, 2014. And now we're moving forward and we are launching a new ecosystem which enhances Waves. It's an ecosystem of layer 2s. Interconnected based on Waves. So Waves become some kind of connecting layer, even not even L1 but layer 0, and connect those chains, and those L2s they become not even L2s, they are proper L1s because there's multiple validators in each chain, and Waves remains some kind of foundational chain for the whole ecosystem. So this is what I'm focusing on now. Some other things as well, but let me start with this. And now we're starting this campaign, testnet campaign. Testnet is live. The project is called Units, and we're launching the first unit. It's called Unit 0, and we're launching the testnet campaign. There's going to be a TVL campaign in a couple of weeks. So we're starting marketing, and it's a very busy time for Waves. A lot of things are happening. So I'm ready to discuss any questions. Waves had a lot of different stories during 8 years of our existence. Good things, bad things, I'm ready to answer all the questions.
Fantastic, that's a great introduction. So I think, we'll speak about Waves first and then Units.
Yeah.
So Waves is built on the blockchain technology, as you mentioned. Mm-hmm. What is its approach? What differentiates Waves from other blockchain platforms?
Yeah, it was one of the first proof of stake platforms because it was initially proof of stake. There wasn't so many proof of stake blockchain before. There was Bitcoin, obviously, proof of work, and Ethereum moved to proof of stake only recently, and Waves was one of the first. Also, it was very fast actually. It was pretty fast even in 2016. Transactions, confirmations take 1 second basically. So if you trade on Waves, basically you don't see any big difference between trading on a centralized exchange and on our DEX. And actually we had one of the first DEXs. Maybe it's not so well known, but OGs remember. So basically we had one of the first 3 DEXs, I guess. It was the second one. in 2017, long before Uniswap, and like our own smart contract language. So it's a very neat platform. It's some kind of like, it has always been some kind of like alternative to Ethereum. Obviously Ethereum became much bigger, but it just kind of provided some kind of like alternative direction for development, because we have like integrated DEX. We had very fast and cheap transactions, like 1 second blocks basically. Ethereum had always 12-second blocks. Ethereum was proof of work. Initially we were proof of stake. So we tried to provide some kind of like alternative direction for blockchain technology. Yes, we have not always been successful, but I think this is our mission, you know, to show some other directions. And a lot of projects basically used what we did. For example, DEX that we did like is been replicated by many other projects, because it was like it was first order book DEX actually, where you could just put like a bid or ask order. It looked like traditional exchange. So yes, but now we're not like, we're not stopping, we're just moving forward and trying to build on top what we have built before.
I see.
Yeah.
You mentioned it's a proof of stake rather than proof of work. For the audience, what was the difference between the two, just so that everyone can understand?
It's pretty interesting, and I think if people are in crypto, they should understand the difference. Proof of work requires a lot of like computational power, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of proof of work chains besides Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going to remain proof of work because it's too big, you know, to move to other algorithms. But proof of work is very wasteful. Actually, Bitcoin spends more in electricity than the whole country of Ireland, for example, annually, you know, on the network support and maintenance. So it's very wasteful, and it doesn't make too much sense, at least for multiple chains. For Bitcoin, maybe it does. Proof of stake, on the other hand, is very cheap. It's incredibly cheap. Actually, all you need to support a network to become a validator is to have some balance in native token. And then you can become a validator, like run your own server. And it's very cheap. It doesn't require any kind of like specialized computer chips or a lot of electricity. No, it doesn't require that. And that's why Ethereum also moved to proof of stake, because it's like ecologically friendly, you know, and proof of work is kind of wasteful, and it's some kind of like dead end for blockchain technology. But Bitcoin, I think, so it's like too big, so and there's too much money involved in it, so it's gonna be proof of work, I think, for decades to come.
Got it. Okay, good for that explanation. Now, coming back to Waves, what are some application, like use cases of Waves? Like, what are some reasons why companies should use Waves as opposed to Ethereum?
Basically, it's much cheaper. It's faster.
How many transactions per second do you provide?
Currently, it's like, I think it's like 100 transactions per second on like basis Waves layer. It's not actually, it's not crazy, but it's much cheaper. And also we have, for example, we have like DEX integrated into the core of the system. It's not that something which is built on top. It's not a D app. It's like integrated into the core. And of course, why we're like doing units now, why we're like trying to launch this ecosystem, which is EVM, because Waves EVM like compatible with Ethereum. Waves is not compatible, it's a non-EVM chain, but units is. And basically Ethereum became very important. They're like smart contract language, virtual machine has like become some kind of like a standard for the industry. So you have to deal with it, and that's why we keep what we had before in terms of like basis functionality and foundational chain, but we try to combine it with Ethereum now, because those L2s, those units that will be launching in Units network, they will be Ethereum compatible. So yes, so we're just trying to provide different directions, and it's very important now. Now everybody is building their own L2s. And this is like a pretty big narrative in crypto now, because like I think this is like the end, this is some kind of like final end game for crypto technology, for blockchain technology. Because what's going to be happening now, there's going to be very robust layer ones, like Ethereum, for example, yeah, and people will build layer twos on top of them, and they will connect in some like trustless way those chains to layer ones, and this will make up some kind of like holistic ecosystem. You know, this is what Ethereum is doing, and I think we can do it faster because we're more flexible, I think. But now you have a lot of problems with L2s because they're not decentralized. Yeah, usually you have only one server that supports like your L2. And there is no like seamless trustless connection back to the layer ones, actually Ethereum, they're built on, you know, because usually you have some kind of like centralized gateway or centralized bridge through which you like transfer tokens, and it's not really trustless, and there's a lot of things that can be put here, you know. So our goal is to make this ecosystem seamless, you know. It has to be trustless, fully interoperable, and properly decentralized, which is the most important thing in crypto.
Now, building off what you said about decentralized, I understand that Waves also allows for decentralized apps to be built on the blockchain.
Sure.
So, can you provide any like real-world examples of dApps that have been built and how it benefits users?
Yeah, basically we have the same dApps mostly that people built on Ethereum. We had a totally different approach to smart contracts. For like more technically savvy, maybe I can explain a bit. So Ethereum, actually, smart contracts are Turing complete. It means that potentially they can do any type of computation, but it is limited by gas. So you can't do basically whatever you want because you have to pay gas.
Gas fee.
Yeah. So in Waves, it's non-Turing complete. So operations that it can execute are limited, but you don't have gas. So that's like there is no gas on Waves.
So there's no gas fee.
No.
Completely. So I can send transactions gas fee free.
It's fixed.
Fixed. Oh, how much is it?
It's like 1/100th of Waves currently.
Which is how much in dollars?
It's like nothing. It's 2 cents.
Oh, 2 cents?
Yeah.
Really? That's great.
Yeah. So it's a fixed fee, and it's a different approach. Yes. So, but on the other hand, we have the same applications, the same dApps that people build on Ethereum, lending, swaps, whatever, like gaming. We had pretty big games on Waves, NFT games. Yes. So basically everything. It's just a different direction. I think it's really interesting for a lot of people to play with it because it's pretty different from other approaches. But I think the most important thing in blockchain is scalability. You need to send a lot of transactions because you need to fit all those like dApps into maybe not even one chain, but into one ecosystem. And if this issue is not resolved, it actually doesn't matter what smart contract language do you have because you just can't have too many dApps. And once scalability is resolved, I think, so we will see some kind of like finalization of blockchain technology. And I think this will happen with this layer 2 narrative. It will be a bit like taken to its like some kind of like end game, you know. So for layer 2 narrative is basically, I think what Ethereum people are doing now, they are trying to create an ecosystem where those L2s that people built on Ethereum now are more tightly integrated into Ethereum itself. You know, so this is what we're doing as well, because in terms of like scalability, you don't have too many other directions. Basically, you have this, you have layer 2 narrative, and you have some kind of like Solana narrative. When you try to, what Solana does in simple terms, they want to like separate different transactions between different servers, between different nodes, and run them in parallel. You know, so they have like one state of the system which is synchronized between all the nodes, but execution is like parallelized. It's a very good approach as well. It's a bit more centralized than, for example, a layer 2 narrative. But this is the only alternative. So you don't have too many options now in blockchain, either layer 2s or something like Solana. And no one has come up with any other options up to now, you know. So let's see how it goes. But I think, yeah, it might be like the end of blockchain in terms of like the technology itself.
Now, you mentioned Solana there, but you mentioned that they're a bit more centralized than Waves, because Waves is more decentralized.
Yes.
But they perhaps cannot do what Solana does.
Yes, Solana is much faster.
Much faster,
Sure.
more TPS probably, and more dApps have been built on Solana probably. So my question is, are you trying to become the next Solana, or better Solana? Are you trying to like?
They're going into the like other direction, because as I said, there is like two directions in blockchain scalability, in my opinion. One is layer 2s, and the other is Solana. So we're closer to layer 2.
Close to layer 2 narratives.
Yeah,
okay. Right.
Yeah, and it's like it's going to be more decentralized. Solana approach is nice, and people will be doing it because it's very fast. Right. Because you can just like run very powerful servers, and you can get so many transactions per second as you want, basically. You know, so it just depends on your computing power, more or less. Yeah, so people will love it. Traders, for trading, it's like awesome, you know, so because you can trade very fast, and people are launching a lot of meme coins on Solana, because it's like it seems to be a very good platform for that.
Can Waves platform be used to create and manage custom-made tokens for businesses?
Sure, absolutely, actually, because Waves, I think what like was the selling point on Waves back in 2016, the most simple way to launch your own token, and it still is actually. I think I haven't seen anything simpler, because you just need to you just fill out the form, you make a click, and you get your token.
That's it. You just create the token. You don't need an ICO or anything.
No, you just have your token like in 1 minute. So it's just like how many tokens you want to have, like name, ticker.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like it was like the selling point of Waves in 2016. It's like I'm not sure that it like worked out for us really well, because so many like shitty tokens were launched. Yeah. And Waves was pretty big in terms of ICOs, because I think at a certain point in time in 2016-17, it was like the second biggest ICO platform behind Ethereum. So in 2017, I think some $300 million. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, but most of those projects are gone.
Gone?
Yeah, and it's
why? Markets?
Just like, you know, so there was like no regulation and too many bad actors, actually. People just like, a lot of people just came and they saw an opportunity. Then they decided just to quit, probably because just they took the money and run, because there was no like, basically no, you couldn't do anything, because there was no regulation. And it was really hard to make sure that those projects would be a success, you know, because it was like the same happened on Ethereum, but Ethereum had several good projects, you know, because at the end of the day, those tokens, they're just startups, and I think one startup out of 10 is somehow successful.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. You talked a little bit about scalability being a very important thing. You know, when addressing high volumes of transactions, how will you address scalability?
Yeah, but basically this is like what we are trying to do now. I think the best option would be to divide those transactions between different chains. So, and Waves becomes the chain that connects those other chains, where people do the most transactions. This is like the idea here. So basically, if you wanna, for example, launch your own DEX, and people are gonna make a lot of transactions there, you could just launch your own chain specifically for your DEX. And in this case, you don't share that like block space with other dApps, and you can fit all your users into that block space. And if you want to interact with other chains, or for example, if you want people to transfer liquidity from external ecosystems, you have this connection to the basis layer. And through this, you do the bridging, and you onboard users from other chains, and basically you get your own chain, but at the same time, it's not a separate chain. It is somehow like embedded into in existing ecosystem, which provides you with bridging, with like restaking, with whatever you want.
Okay.
That's the idea here.
And another crucial importance about scalability is also security. How does WaveTech ensure securable, reliable environment for its business and users?
Security is a big thing in crypto, of course. Yeah. So we had some pretty bad issues that we are still struggling with.
What was them? What were
back
they?
in 2000, yeah. So back in 2022, when Luna collapse happened, FTX situation happened, we were somehow affected by this as well, negatively. And we had a stable coin, for example,
USDN.
USDN,
Yeah, I heard.
Which depacked very badly, and we are still struggling with the repercussions of that. So the setup was similar to Luna actually. It was not so degen. Luna was really degen, but still, and it didn't depack like Luna. It took it a while, maybe I don't remember how long, half a year or so. We were all trying to keep the pack, but at the end of the day, we failed because there was a lot of pressure from centralized exchanges, who somehow thought that we had another Luna, which wasn't the case, and it was even launched before Luna, that stablecoin. And yes, so you need to basically be very, very cautious, because some setups in crypto, they work in most situations, 99% of the time, you're good, but then there's some kind of black swan event, which destroys everything. And you just can't bring it back, it's just gone. And this is what happened to Luna, for example. This is what happened in a way to FTX, and this is what happened to us. And yeah, so this was a very big learning experience for me, because you need to make sure, because the situation that happened with this FTX, for example, was really unexpected, and nobody could expect that, so. And the market crashed, and a lot of projects were affected. And you have to make sure that your setup, your architecture can withstand those black swan events, even if you haven't experienced those events before. You have to be a little bit have some kind of predictive power. You have to consider all the scenarios and make sure that those architectures won't be broken, for example, Luna and similar projects. Yes, this is very important. And people retail, they need to do their own research, because people now forget that blockchain technology was supposed to be trustless. So it was about creating protocols that work without trust, But now people rely on trust too much. They just trust certain developers, certain exchanges, but this is just the exact opposite of what crypto was supposed to be about, So I think people should start looking into the essence of those protocols and try to understand how they work a bit, because that will help. And if you rely too much on trust, it's not going to be good, because crypto is the promise of blockchain is actually to get rid of trust.
Trustless.
This is some kind of contradiction here, and people tend to forget about that.
I want to circle back to the USDN case, because you mentioned it. I know it's a stable coin, sort of built on the principles of Luna, but different. What happened with that? So you admitted it was a fail. How did it fail? How did it just collapse?
So basically it was based on Luna. I think there was a project which was called Basis. It wasn't launched. So some American guys wanted to launch it, but then they had an issue with SEC, and there was a white paper, and they didn't launch it. There was a white paper, and I read that white paper, and I liked it, and I think Doc One read that paper as well. So, and I actually didn't know about Luna until everybody knew about it, so I just didn't know about it. So for me it was a way to maybe attract more people to Waves, to create some product that would appeal to the masses because it's a stable coin. It's like it generates yield. You hold it, you get around like 5 to 10% APY, depending on the price of Waves token. And it was like something that could attract Web2 people, you know, because it's simple and profitable. Yes, that was the idea. And basically what happened to USDN, we had a lending protocol which was called, it still exists actually, but it's like not really popular now. It was called Virus.
Virus, yes. Virus Finance.
Virus Finance, yes. And actually there was like a lot of stable coins borrowed against USDN in that protocol. And then when this like FUD situation happened, because some like I won't be a conspiracy theorist, and actually doesn't matter because if you lose in this market, this is your fault, you know. So this is like you made some mistake and you were punished for it, you know. So there was some funds that like manipulated the price. So basically they were able to crash Waves price and at the same time creating some FUD around Virus, so that it's like its collateral is becoming like under collateralized, and it just triggered more selling of Waves, and there was this like snowball effect, which wasn't so fast as in Luna's case, but it was pretty significant.
But was client money ever given back?
Basically, no. The people still have that stable coin, which is depegged. And now what we do now, so what is happening on Waves now, so over the last 2 years, we buy those USDNs with Waves inflation. Because there is some inflation in Waves, miners, they get Waves for validating the chain. And miners community decided to give 1/3 of the inflation to the buyback process. So eventually, all this USDN will be bought back, since like there is some buying pressure, and all USDN which is being bought back is burned. Its price will be like back at $1. Mm-hmm. So in terms of like timing, it's gonna take some time, you know, okay. So like maybe a couple of years more. But this is what we're doing. But if we launch units properly, and if it's a success, I think it can really expedite the process, and this is what I'm hoping for now.
There was some, I don't remember the exact numbers. Was it like some 300 million that in the USDN case that you had?
In collateral, yes, it was like a couple hundred millions.
Couple hundred millions.
Yeah.
Did you make any money from that?
No, actually, I lost all the money I had. But it's okay, you know, because people lost money as well. And in terms of like, there was no way to make money from that, you know. So basically, because it wasn't supposed to make money, you know. So the idea was to make USDN like algorithmic stablecoin number 1, okay, mm-hmm. Or number 2, okay, mm-hmm. Whatever, yeah, because DAI is pretty big. So that was the idea, and of course, actually, this was the goal, because it could be profitable, but indirectly, you know, because mm-hmm. more people could have come to Waves, and it could just give a boost to the whole ecosystem. Mm-hmm. In terms of like profitability, because there was no mechanism to make money off of it.
No, it makes sense. I understand where you're coming from. Like USDN was meant to be like sort of like a fishing net, get the people onboarded, and then maybe, okay, now we have a community, and because Web3 is all about community. But then, as you said, it didn't work out the way that you wanted to, but many learning lessons have come out of this.
Yeah, exactly.
And now, moving on to Waves and now units. Waves recently in the news, as you know, you just mentioned, has been delisted from Binance. What are your thoughts though? What you must be thinking right now?
It's like not good, because currently basically we fund the development. Everything on Waves now is decentralized in terms of like internal structure. All the funding goes through the DAO, for example, and Waves DAO. And the DAO gets the funds from Waves inflation. Like 1/3 of Waves inflation goes to buyback of USDN, and 1/3 goes to Waves DAO. And all the projects on Waves, including core development, are funded through through this process. And because Binance delisted today, the price crashed, which is not good, because now I'm thinking how to move forward. But it's okay, because we've been able to figure it out for 2 years now. Because after that situation, there was nothing on Waves in terms of funding, and I had to create this decentralized approach where where all the funding comes from inflation or from DAOs, and it worked out for us because we were able to move forward. So this is not the first time I'm facing this issue, and it will be resolved. So in terms of why Binance did it, I won't speculate actually. So I have I kind of know why. So there's some things that you can basically maybe figure out on your own from from open sources. If you just take a look at some news around Waves recently, you will understand. And it's not about virus and USDN situation. Yes,
But do you know why why they did this?
No, I have some
What's the reason?
No, I won't speculate. So maybe because I can prove it, so probably I won't speculate.
Okay.
So yeah, but you can figure it out. I think taking into account where Waves came from.
Yeah, perhaps the reputation.
Where CZ is currently, and what he's doing now. So there's some kind of very clear picture that you can figure out on your own.
Yeah.
So, but it's okay. So it's okay because so Waves is the end of an era, I would say, because Waves was listed on Binance when Binance launched,
which is 2017, no?
Yeah, exactly after that. Yeah. So, and I told the story many times. Actually, I met CZ one time. And that was when Waves was listed in Tokyo, actually. They just moved from China to Japan for a while. As far as I know, they didn't stay there for long. And they just moved into the new office. And there was CZ, another guy, and a couple girls at the reception, and nobody else. And it was a very nice meeting, actually, because back then, and I don't have any grudge against Binance, so let me just I don't care. So, but it was a very nice meeting because back then you had several exchanges. It was Bittrex, it was Poloniex, and a couple maybe minor exchanges. And they were not professional, So people were hobbyists, Either they were some kind of crypto anarchists or hobbyists. They were not businessmen. And CZ was the first guy in crypto who was a businessman. I hadn't seen any businessman in crypto up to that moment.
Oh, really?
And then I just understood that he would be big.
Wow.
He was really focused. This is a business. I'm gonna make money, and he had some experience with trading robots, and they built the market making very fast. I think on their own, they were doing initial market making, and yeah, they had great tokenomics for BNB, and yeah, he was a proper businessman, so I'm glad for him, and yeah, but this is some kind of 8 years, more or less 8 years Waves was there, so let's see how it goes for Waves and for Binance. Centralized exchanges are big now, this is out of question, yeah, because they were able to onboard a lot of Web2 people.
Yeah, that's true, me included.
Yeah. Because it's DEXs exist, but in terms of usability, they're worse, obviously.
And credibility, everybody uses Binance. Why do you use something else?
Yeah.
I know Binance has liquidity.
Exactly, and it's a network effect. If you have some core community, and it's bigger than other communities at other places, it gets bigger faster. It's network effect.
A network effect.
Yeah, this is what they do, and they're big. But let's see how it goes, because you still have a lot of problems with centralized exchanges.
Of course.
Yeah. So, because it wasn't supposed to be this way, and since we have DEXs, I think DEXs will have some kind of rebirth soon. Yeah, because they were big. I talked to market makers, and it's pretty interesting. They were they told me that DEXs was comparable in volume like a couple of years ago. Like really, they were big. Uniswap and other like Pancake, they were like comparable to Binance. But now Binance is much bigger, and all sexes are much bigger. But it's not the end of the story, of course, because once we have been able to resolve this like usability problem for DEXs, and maybe some kind of like credibility problem, I think they will start to compete with centralized exchanges again, because it's like it's not non-custodial, and you don't have to do KYC.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like it's very attractive for some people.
Apart from Binance, are you listed anywhere else?
Yeah, basically everywhere. So
Everywhere else,
yeah,
like Coinbase.
Coinbase, no. So we had been like struggling with them for many years to get listed.
Why is that?
Probably because of Russian connection.
Russian connections?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Yeah. So
being affiliated
like
with Russia.
Very.
They're very strict,
cautious.
aren't they?
Yeah.
They're very.
And we had a lot of, despite that I'm like Ukrainian, I lived in Moscow for most of my life, and we have had very many projects in Russia, including, for example, like federal elections in Russia still use Waves chain. You know, like so it's like
I can imagine.
I'm not dealing with it anymore and have no connection to the people who stayed in Moscow, but this is the case. So basically, Coinbase was kind of like, and for me it wasn't business actually. I was trying to promote the technology, you know, because I don't think that I made some money from this. I don't think so. But for me it was some kind of like evangelism. I was just trying to see where blockchain technology can be applicable, you know. So, and for example, voting, elections is a very obvious choice for blockchain, you know. So, but it didn't turn out the way as I hoped.
I understand.
Yeah.
I have a question. So following the whole incident, USDN, virus finance, Sasha, are you a wanted man?
Not that I know of. No. Okay. I like when people ask me about about the situation, and I think I always recommend them to go through official channels. You know? So you can just go, if you have some issue, you can just come to me because I've been like very accessible. But if you don't want, for some reasons, you know, so you can just go to the police. And
for sure.
This is like the right way to do that.
And
but nobody did actually, you know. So this is the question.
Well, I mean, that's a good thing. You're not wanted. Okay, you're fine.
No, I'm good.
And just curious question, humorous question.
Yeah.
Are you a millionaire?
No, I don't.
Did you make any millions from this?
No, I haven't made any millions because
No.
my goal was like always. So I'm a bit different in this. Because maybe the mindset now is different. Because when it started in 2014, people were not only talking about like trading, and there was like a very big angle around decentralization, new protocols, and stuff like that. So I belong to that folks, you know. Like for me, this is like what I've been trying to do over the years, to try and create some other ways for the society to interact.
For the everyday person?
Yes, because I think there is a lot of problems with governance.
So you're an
now.
everyday person?
Everyday person?
Yeah, like an average person, yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe?
No, I mean, it's not up to me to decide.
Yeah.
It's like,
okay,
it's up to you to decide.
let's come back to Waves now and units. So transparency and trust are crucial, and I think you're in the stage of rebuilding that. Is that correct?
Yeah.
What are your ways to rebuild trust with the Waves tech community following what happened?
Exactly. So this is a very good question. So, because now when we started promoting units, I understood that people outside Waves didn't really realize what we were trying to do. You know, because when they are focusing on their own community, you don't really know what is happening outside. You know, when you try to go out of your community, you find out that nobody knows what you do. You know? So this is was a pretty bad surprise for me. So, and now my goal is to make sure that everybody's on the same page, that people understand what we do and what we are trying to do now with the units. Basically, we're gonna transfer the tokens, unit tokens, to the community. So there's no like my share. There's going to be some like some bonus for the coders, of course, but I won't have any kind of like share in the supply of units. So it's going to be like channeled to the DAO, and community will decide what to do with those tokens. So I don't have any like personal interest besides trying to resolve the situation faster. Yeah, and I want to make sure that people understand that. So our goal is to create new things, and those new things are meant to help us resolve the problems we faced before, because there is no other way to do that. You have to move forward despite all the issues, and what you do now, the projects that we are launching will help resolve those issues.
Okay. No, that's good. At least you have a plan in place to help rebuild. How long do you think it will take, roughly speaking?
I think if units launch is successful, I think it's going to move very fast, because we're like coding and it takes time, and you just can't resolve it like that in one shot. So, but when everything like falls in place, you can move fast, So, and I think if we launch around August, by the end of the year, problems should like maybe not completely resolved, but there will be a very clear path for everyone to see how it will be resolved.
Indeed. Mentally, I'm just wondering now, going to a mental state, because you're a founder, and you have to stay mentally fit for the job all the time. For the audience, how do you mentally deal with negativity, negative press release?
Yeah,
and continue growing.
I'm healthy. I think people are having much worse problems in the world now than I'm having. So because, for example, my home city is besieged now. And it's like I have to deal with waves. But I understand what's happening there. People are just like lying in trenches. For half a year. You're like in a trench and you're fighting, and it's like this is much worse. So, and this is nothing what's happening to myself or to like waves, because now we are facing much bigger issues. So and I think it's something that you have to go through. This is some kind of a challenge that you have to deal with, and maybe like God gives you a chance to prove yourself. So this is what I'm doing.
That's a good response. Yeah. People have it worse, and much worse. Yeah, you think right now, having some negativity comments on a page, that's nothing compared to what you see.
People are dying now.
Dead, families wiped out in Ukraine. Okay, we're going to wrap up very soon. I'm just now curious about the general trends of, you're a founder, you're an entrepreneur. 2016 you launched. Now we're in 2024, so many years have passed. I'm curious, what are some next trends that you see coming into the blockchain space?
I think it's like currently everybody's focusing on trading. Meme coins and stuff like that.
Real world assets.
Maybe let me go through like RWA is pretty big narrative, and it was called like tokenization.
It was.
The day. Now it's RWA, but it is the same. Yeah, absolutely. So and it's inevitable. Why is it inevitable? Although it's not properly crypto, because there is a very big aspect of centralization here, because you can't basically make those assets properly decentralized, because there is always some legal entity that backs them up. So this is it. But on the other hand, people wanna trade, for example, S&P or gold or Tesla stock, not only during weekdays, but also on Sundays.
Of course.
And it's absolutely obvious to me that it's going to move to blockchain, everything, because it's like just a better platform. It's not a revolution, but it's just like a more natural platform for those assets, because people want to trade 24/7, and current markets just don't provide that. So RWAs are not properly crypto, but they're going to be big, in my opinion. Yeah. As for other narratives, what narrative? You know,
I mean, for Waves technology in particular, does it have any plans to integrate emerging tech like AI into its blockchain?
AI is going to be very big. It's not big yet. Only like tokens with AI tickers are big, you know, but they're not properly AI. You know, so there is some kind of like this is just marketing more or less. But now I think we will see some attempt to decentralize AI properly, because currently AI is very
centralized. Yeah,
you have like very big companies like Google, OpenAI is just like making their own AIs, and like also there's some attempts to like make a Chinese AI, like Russian AI, and it's very centralized. What are they gonna do? They're gonna fight each other, you know, sooner or later. So we will have to try and create something which is like, which doesn't belong to anyone, which is like Bitcoin, you know, like AI network which is similar to Bitcoin. It's just decentralized, and there is like a number of like actors that support the network, like miners or whatever you call it. And I think this is inevitable, and I can see some like movement in that direction, because otherwise we won't have a proper AI, and those AIs will be just tools, you know, in the hands of governments and like big corporations. So if you want to like stick to the spirit of crypto, we will need to decentralize AI, and I think this will be happening now.
And you plan to do that?
Sure, if like as soon as I have time, I have some ideas, you know, about.
You have a lot on your plate already.
Yeah, because I have some ideas about that, and it's very interesting. Yeah.
So you must be very anti-CBDCs, central bank digital currency. Or are you
they're like more or less like RWA, you know, and now I think that they won't be big, because governments, they figured out how to deal with like proper crypto. They're not so keen on launching CBDCs.
They're not so keen?
No.
Oh, is it?
No, it's not moving fast.
Oh.
Because I'm talking to a lot of people. It's not moving fast anywhere in the world.
Oh.
You know, they like in Russia they had this thing, and nobody uses it. In China there is some traction, but it's pretty small. And because you still have this problem, because you know, it's not like. It doesn't add too much value, I think. You know, so if
of course we think this way, but in the government's eyes,
they don't see any value in that either, because they control the banking system in any case. You know, so why should they launch this new thing which won't give them anything really new?
I guess like because they can print money faster.
But they can print it now as well.
Yeah,
very fast.
But also not having to deal with banks. Central bank goes straight to your the dealings of a consumer.
Yeah, this is like, for example, in Russia, that was the idea, basically. They wanted to basically circumvent commercial banks.
Yes.
And deal with the retail.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is not a job for a central banker, I think, you know, to deal with retail. So they would need some like kind of like commercial bank still. So this idea is kind of needed, like if you, at face value, you know, but if you like start thinking about it or start implementing it, it's not so interesting anymore. For example, people are trying to launch like BRICS coin now, you know, like BRICS CBDC for like some kind of alternative financial instrument, alternative to US dollar. And it's really hard, because still you have some kind of like a very loose alliance of countries, and their interests are not aligned, you know, still. So they just can't launch the thing. You know, if Chinese could, for example, promote their digital yuan all over the world, that could work out. You know, but they're not so interested in this either, I think. So I think CBDCs are gonna somehow like are not gonna emerge, I would say. You know, they will still be just an idea for maybe a decade.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
I pray to God
just nothing is happening.
They don't come. They don't come. Yeah. I hope so. Trump has recently said he'll eliminate CBDCs.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Well, okay, I know. It's hard to trust what Trump says, but you know, he wants to be elected. But I mean, it got my attention that he said that.
They understand how to deal with crypto now, you know, because they couldn't figure Bitcoin out at the beginning, but now they did. No.
And he has his own NFT, Mega Trump.
Yeah.
You know?
They will just like try to get as much Bitcoin as possible, And like, yeah, I don't think it's gonna be good, you know, because
Yeah.
that could be also
Controlling.
controlling.
I know,
And
I
this
know.
is like the same thing because you don't have anything like completely new with this because you have like it's like just like digital gold, you know.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So, but it's still gold, you know. So it's, in terms of like mechanics, how it works, in terms of like economics, it's not much different from example from gold, you know.
Yeah.
And we like humanity had like economy based on gold for many centuries, and I don't know if it really worked out. No, not really, you know. So maybe this is not the end of the story, and we will have some other assets that may be more appropriate and not so similar to the assets that we had before. Because Bitcoin, if you look closely, is not very dissimilar from all those assets that humanity had before. It's just
Right.
digital,
Yeah.
but it's the same thing.
Yeah, really interesting. I thank you for your time, Sasha. We're going to wrap up. I want to ask, for the audience's sake, with units and waves, where is the best place that the audience can find out more information so they can be onboarded and find out more about you?
Guys, follow Units. It's units.network. There is links to social media accounts. Follow the launch. Testing campaign is live. You can participate. You can earn some points that will be converted into Unit 0 token later. A lot of activity on Waves channel. On Waves channels, a lot of like good things, bad things. It's a very live community. Come to us and let's see how it goes, guys. I think it's going to be great because we have great technology, a great community, a lot of experience, and we are launching a very, very interesting project in a few months. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Sasha, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it. We'll leave all the links in the description, so I hope you found this insightful. Please do check out his page and his websites. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.